20, 23 points. That was not an accurate. It's not an accurate reflection of the way that game went. 23 points. They won by 30.
It's certainly nice to win a game by 23 and be like, well, that kind of lets Illinois off the hook, doesn't it? I mean,
a little bit it does.
We've seen blowouts this year. The one game they put up like 120 and beat, was it Canisius or whatever it was, by like 70. Ohio State at home, they were up, I think, 40 at times.
And they've dropped back to like 26. The same kind of thing is like this.
But I've never, I don't think I've ever seen a Maryland team in March put one on somebody like this before.
And if they did, it was a bottom dweller. It wasn't a really good tournament quality team.
Well, yeah. I mean, all the talk about this beforehand was how Illinois has really turned their season around. They got all their guys healthy. When people were trying to disparage Maryland's win up in the UFO saucer early in the season, they were saying, oh, well, their big guy was out with mono, and a couple of their other guys were sick or something. So it kind of doesn't count. Does this one count? Does this one count? I think this one counts. I don't know. As far as I can tell, this one counts.
I think it counts. And everybody, I was worried about it. I texted you guys before, and I was worried the layoff thing, plus Illinois had a game under their belts, and they're hot right now. I was worried Illinois was going to get off to the hot start, and there was just never a minute of doubt. It was unbelievable.
The past 6 weeks or so, I think this team has developed a new level of confidence that they play with. And, when you look at it, this is 2 months now where they've had 3 losses. As we keep saying, all 3 were on buzzer beaters. So, I mean, everyone's going to say, don't jinx it. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to hear that. The reality is that looked, it's one performance against a team that's a good tournament team, but that was a Final Four kind of performance there. Now, who knows? You could come out the next day and lay an egg easily, but if you could bottle that or anything even close to that, it's going to be an extended March.
Yeah, it's always the worry when you get the bye or the double bye going into a tournament like this, where you feel like, okay, well, the team that played yesterday and obviously won yesterday, or they wouldn't be here, is going to come out hot. Like they're feeling it. They know the rims. They played on the court, and the other team's going to come out cold. Well,
not so much.
That didn't happen. And I tell you, we've talked about this a little bit the past couple of weeks, where Maryland's offense seemed like it wasn't quite going, but it was kind of okay because their defense seemed like it really picked up to kind of offset that.
Yeah.
Tonight, they were hitting shots, and not like dominant shots. Rodney Rice really personally decided he was going to take this game over, but Maryland only shot 42%.
I know. That's the thing. I was just looking at the stats. That's unbelievable.
But the last 10 minutes skew that.
Yes, that's fair.
They shot really well from 3. They were 50-something%, I believe.
48% from 3.
48%.
SVP's tweet about Rodney Rice was so perfect.
Like I said, I had him on third. I had him on the third team. I thought, again, I've said it before. I'm always sensitive to being. I don't want to be a homer or be biased just because I focus on one team and not as much on the others. But I felt like they had 4 guys who should have been first through third team on whatever team they were on. And Rice, everybody, I've said Miguel's the X factor. I might have to switch that one up to Rice because, that was an incredible performance. You could see it early on. Sometimes you can just see when the confidence is flowing and a guy's feet are moving a little quicker. And that was how he was. The step back early was nasty. And then Jordan Geronimo off the bench, they've been getting 0 points off the bench in every other game. Yeah. And
I'm a well-documented history of enjoying Jordan Geronimo shooting 3-pointers. So I'm very happy that he came through tonight and proved me right, as I've always been. Really, really enjoy the Geronimo threes. Need more of those.
He is the Mario Lucas of this team.
Oh, that's good. That's
way more athletic.
Yeah.
But in terms of the dynamic, yes. But he looked like he was jumping even higher than usual tonight. He nearly ended a few lives on some of those lobs. There was the one where he reached back that would have been legendary if he had pulled it off. So you're getting stuff from the bench. Harris Smith was capable, coming off the bench, and Gillespie was great. I mean, really, they were all great. It's hard to really, we could sit here all night. I didn't see what Julian Reese's final numbers were.
10 and 5.
He was a little
a little pedestrian from him. Gillespie didn't shoot great. Miguel was off all night from 3. And to be able to put up this type of performance where you really only had 2.5 guys who were really feeling it, like that really kind of says something about where this team is right now. And I don't think you can really discount what Geronimo gives you now, being a really, not just a serviceable third big, but like a really quality third big. He's not going to score you a ton of points, but what he does defensively and just keeping the offensive moving, being that garbage man, being willing to go down there, get offensive rebounds, move the ball around, put backs, things like that. I mean, it is
the energy. He's been injecting the energy pretty much in every game for the past 3 weeks. Probably every time he comes off the bench, he immediately makes some sort of energy play. Maryland had 3 turnovers in the whole game, 17 for Illinois. I mean, they just smothered Illinois. Like, my son is 16. He's gotten to a point where he's just quicker and stronger than me. So we're playing one-on-one, and eventually you just like heave up a horrible shot. Illinois looked like that on like half of their possessions in the first 10 minutes.
The defense was awesome.
Yeah,
they really clamped down on them.
And I really do think that Geronimo playing more minutes has been a factor in the defensive performance being better just overall, because he's just like one of those guys. It seems like the team does feed off his energy, kind of like what we hoped maybe if Miguel was going to be that 6-man offensive spark. It feels like Geronimo is kind of that 6-man defensive spark, and it really does work out. And they talk a lot about everybody's talked a lot about the bench and the fact they don't score a ton. First of all, they did tonight, which was hilarious. And secondly, I don't know that they need to, as long as you're getting really good minutes. Like Naki said the other day, if you're getting on the defensive end and they're being a cog in the offensive machine, even if they're not the guys taking the shots, that's fine. That's just fine.
23-0 in points off turnovers.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Can't win like that. Boy, I tell you what, if you're Brad Underwood right now, how do you – I mean,
what do you say? Yeah.
The degree that Maryland owns his soul is like supernatural. It's disgusting. Like, I almost feel bad for the guy. That's how bad it is.
I don't 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for Maryland in the series. Several blowouts, several big upset. He's got to hate Maryland. I'm sure he hates crab cakes. He hates Kyle Ripken.
And the crab
right.
pie.
Yep.
Wasn't it the year? I think it was the year Maryland started the year in the top 5, and the first time there was an inkling that maybe they weren't going to be what they were supposed to be. It was Illinois who upset Maryland in New York, right? And at that point, then ever since then, that one time, ever since then, Maryland has done that to Illinois over and over. And even when they're bad, like last year, they beat Illinois. So
yeah, that's just how it works in a weird way sometimes, like Penn State had over Maryland.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not the same ratio there. Maryland is much better as opposed to Illinois. But now the question, I mean, they played well enough to obviously beat anybody, but who do you want to play tomorrow? I think it's clearly Michigan. Purdue's kind of, they beat up Michigan a few weeks ago. They've been sliding for at least a month now. And Purdue's kind of had their number. I have to write a preview and look it up, but I don't know what, how many wins out of how many meetings it's been, but it feels like it's been fairly one-sided recently. So if you're a Maryland fan, you should definitely be rooting for Michigan right now.
Yeah, I think you're rooting for Michigan for multiple reasons. One, because you feel like you're better, they're a worse team, basically. I think you like the matchups there because their guards are just not very good. And I think Michigan is clearly behind Maryland on the seed line no matter what happens at this point, but Purdue isn't really. So if Purdue loses tonight, you're probably feeling a whole lot better about that 3 seed possibility, or certainly staying on the 4 line if you lose tomorrow. So, I think it's pretty clear.
After tonight, I think the 4 is clinched. I don't think they can drop to the 5 anymore.
I agree.
I still think there are people saying they can't get to the 3. But I think they can.
No, I think Iowa State lost yesterday. That was one team.
A&M lost too.
Analysts who are saying that, though. There are people saying it.
Well, I mean, people are going to say what they say, right? I mean, it's whatever. I don't know what the tournament committee is going to do. Nobody does. Even the greats don't know what they're going to do. I think Maryland puts themselves in discussion. And I mean, when you put up a performance like this, basically in prime time, while you know the committee is watching against a team that was being really talked up and put on that show last night, I mean, that's got to help you that's got to help you when they're doing this sorting and stuff they have to do, kind of tomorrow and on the last day. So I don't know that they'll get a 3, even if they win tomorrow, but they've done their part. I mean, there's nothing else they can do at this point.
Well, I'm spitting out stats. 11-0 on fast break points. Led for all but about a minute. I mean, they took it to them immediately. It was not in question after about 5 minutes. They missed 7 free throws and only shot 42%, and still could have won by 35 easily.
Yeah, it would have been if they'd have kept the starters in. The starters would have kept increasing the lead. But
that's
more
the bonus right there. That is a huge bonus,
being
being able to rest those guys.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope this game goes into. I think someone made the comment even in there. You hope this game goes to overtime.
It wouldn't hurt, right?
Right.
I mean, the funny thing is, do you want to know how I know that soccer has made it in America? Rodney Rice, ladies and gentlemen.
That was crazy.
That was
what happened to make him fall. Did he collide?
He just slipped. It was like there was moisture on the court or something, and he just kind of making a cut around the 3-point line, kind of slipped, and you could see him going for his knee or his calf, and I'm like, oh God, this is the worst possible scenario. And then all the guys gang up on Gillespie. He throws it over to Rodney. He gets up, catches it, hits a 3, gets fouled. It's
I tore my ACL. Psych, buckets. Like that
it's
was
incredible. Cristiano Ronaldo was loving that somewhere.
But for a second, you were like, no. Yeah. Oh God! And then he got up, and you're like, okay. And then he hits a 3 and got fouled, and you're like, holy!
I've never been happier in my life to see someone sucking on one of those protein gel things. Yeah,
you got 2 of those in the game, the 4-point plays.
Yeah,
and Gillespie was great too. I mean, he's overshadowed by Rice, but he played great. They couldn't stay in front of him.
12 points, 9 assists for Gillespie, and only 1 turnover. Wow!
How many of those assists were just basic passes to Rice?
Yes, just hand it to Rice and let him score. Yeah, but still, it's still 9 the way it's counted.
You know what I love? I'm watching the Big Ten Network on silent right now, and they just had Maryland put the thing on the sticker on with Maryland on the next bracket. They let Geronimo do it first of all, which was awesome. Yeah, and second of all, there was like no reaction from the team. They're just like, yeah, cool. All right, let's go.
Good.
I mean, I like that. This team. I was scared. I'm scared to say it out loud because of, our battered fan syndrome over the last decade plus, but like this team feels different. I mean, it's felt different for a while. The last couple of weeks you get a little skittish just because the offense doesn't seem like it's flowed like it has before. But you're also at a point where because the 5 is so good, even if somebody or 2 guys have an off night, you're not done. Like any of those guys can go off. It's been Rodney recently. It's been Selton recently. Queen, he's had a couple games where he hasn't been at his best. Reese has had a couple games he's been a little bit off. It just hasn't mattered. It feels like Gillespie is the only one who can't have a total howler. If he has a total bad game, you're in trouble. But anybody else can have an off night, and it just doesn't matter most of the time. And that's just incredible going to this in this single elimination tournament play.
One other stat, Jeff, that's really great. Geronimo's line, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals, and a block.
Yeah.
And how many minutes? 20 minutes?
Zero turnovers, 25 minutes, 5 of 10 from the field. Unbelievable. That's starter level stuff.
Yeah. Oh no, he was excellent. I mean, straight up excellent. He missed 1 or 2 little bunnies you'd maybe liked him to make, but like you're just going to be fine with that with the rest of his performance. I'll say having Gapare get out there and get some real minutes again was good, even though he was obviously a little bit rusty, but you're probably going to need him at some point. Yeah, he had a couple good defensive plays, which you don't always expect from him. Nice stroke on that 3, a couple, almost killer dunks. If he can just be a guy you could bring in if you need him, because you're going to need him at some point if they're going to make a run here. you're not going to be able to just roll with 8 dudes straight up. So I hope that he can put it a little bit together. Not, you don't expect to get 20 out of him, but you get a good 8 or 10 here and there if there's foul trouble or something or need an offensive spark. And that's just bonus.
DHS and Jay Young combined 7 rebounds and 3 assists. They didn't score, but like you said, when they're contributing in those ways, then, hey, you got 5 other dominant scorers. So there's going to be 3 or 4 other scorers on the court at the same time as them. So,
and they didn't have much of an answer for Queen. He could have, he could have gone for a lot more if he got more. I didn't see how many shots he ended up taking.
7 of 11.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's
just fine.
How many boards did he have?
63.6, 64%. You got 10 boards, 19 and 10, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block. So another stat stuffer.
Nice little 15-footer too from him. You'd like to see that start going.
Yeah, except now he's going to do it tomorrow and miss it.
What? Yeah, I mean, look, again, that's another situation. We're running out of time with Derek, so we need to enjoy him while we got him. Hopefully those start falling in, and
that's his first postseason game too. You really can't ignore that. Like most freshmen would be a little nervous sometimes in that first game, and he didn't.
Not that guy.
Well, no. One thing I'm slightly worried about all tournament long, not just this game, they've been calling a lot of fouls. And Maryland blew them out, and in the second half, they stopped calling fouls because it didn't matter. They just let them play. But if it was a close game, Maryland would have had serious foul trouble at the end of that game.
Yeah,
and I'm a little worried about
timeout. By the first TV timeout, 4 of the starters had a foul. I was thinking that's ominous right there.
And I think that's sorry. No, I think that's right. But the only issue that I wasn't upset about that was because they were actual fouls. Like they were hacking dudes. And I think they were a little fired up, especially in the first 10 minutes or so. And then you saw them calm down and stop swiping all the time because they had a lot of steals, but a lot of them were kind of smart steals. They were not, just throwing chicken wings out there and trying to swipe balls away out of nowhere.
Those were bad fouls. Gillespie reached a minute into the game. Reese had a bad one.
Yeah, so you got, and look, this is the first Big Ten tournament game for 4 of the 5 starters. Like, I don't even know what did nobody knows. I don't even know what conference Belmont's in, but
he did play in the NCAA tournament, so he's been on the big stage. But it was his first Big Ten, and like you said, Julian Reese is the only starter who'd been there before. So you would think maybe a slow start, but it was the opposite of that.
We got a good comment that'll bring up some good discussion from Tony Jernigan the second. Hey, Larry, but really all of us, where does this performance by Rice rank among conference game performances by Maryland players? The first thing that comes to mind is John Gilchrist and the way he completely took over a tournament for 3 straight days when they won it back in,
2004?
2004, 2005 season, right? Or was it?
I thought it was it might have been 04.
Yeah, something like that. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I'm sure there are others. Maryland, when they were good in the 90s, and obviously the 2 dominant teams, Final Four teams, they blew people out in the early rounds of tournaments. So I'm sure there's some of those too.
Juan Dixon.
I'm sure Joe Smith probably had in his 2 years, but I can't remember the exact numbers. If anybody else has anybody, post them in the chat.
Well, I appreciate him posting that question because that's a good article right there.
Boom, content.
Yeah. It'll be after I write the other 6 that I have to write when we get off.
Yes, it's Friday night. Nobody's helping Jeff tonight. He's rolling solo.
It's Friday night.
It beats the hell out of writing about like a 30-point loss to Wisconsin that ends a 16-17 season.
It does. It certainly does.
It is Friday night, but we do have a lot of people in the chat room. And if you have not subscribed, while I got all you guys here, please do us a favor. Click that subscribe button. Click the like button for us. I think we're going to try to go live maybe after every win. So if you click the bell, you'll get a notification when the lives happen. You don't have to do that though. And it's free, right, Paul?
Absolutely. It is free. And hey, if you haven't checked out our interview with Damon Evans yet, you should, especially if you're into the NIL stuff, because we got really deep on that. All that stuff's on the YouTube page. So go check out some stuff. We got some good stuff on there.
And InsideMDSports.com, We got
I guess.
Multiple big scoop stories in the past couple of days about recruiting, some transfer guys that I like. One transfer guy that I really like their chances at, and a whole bunch of other behind the scenes stuff. And there's really no better time. I can see why you wouldn't join when things are down, but it's going to be,
now's the time to do it. Hey, Wally Champ 15, hit subscribe. Thank you.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's not only you getting all this content from how the tournament's playing out, but we're getting into spring football, and you've got the portal opening up like as this is all going on. So it's going to be a
basketball portal. Hey,
and the way this season is going and has gone is going to make them a more attractive destination for transfers next year. If guys are watching this, this is the big stage, and clearly there's going to be, 3 starting jobs pretty much wide open. So
yes,
hopefully only 3, right?
My guess is 3. I think it'll just be Reese, Queen, and Miguel. Queen obviously going to the draft, and Miguel and Reese are out of eligibility. I don't think anybody else. You never know though these days. Honestly, my brain has been retrained to now when Rice started going off, thinking, wow, he just made himself a lot of money. Like from Maryland, most likely.
Right.
There'll be others. There are already others who want him. There will be others, but whatever he gets is went up tonight, I would say.
Yes.
Especially if he can maintain this.
Not a bad year for Maryland to get that money from the House settlement, I guess.
That's right. This from Greg Wax. I was just going to ask this. They're up to 11 in Ken Palm now.
What are we at going into the game?
I think 13 or 14. There was a clump of them all within 0.08 or something. And so now they're ahead of Wisconsin, right behind Iowa State, he said. And 9 on Torvik, highest in the conference.
Well,
so let's just say they finish at 11, which they could go higher, obviously, if they keep winning in this tournament. If they finish going into the NCAAs at 11, someone needs to look up what the 11 team in Ken Palm last year, what their seed was, just for reference.
I was gonna say, Jeff. Sup, Greg, tailgate buddy of mine, longtime excellent Terp. Also, if you jump on Ken Palm, see what the offense and the defensive ratings look like now, because I'd hope for Maryland to get a little closer to that 2020 situation where most of the tournament winners come from. I don't think this offensive. I don't know if it's all of them, but most of them. I don't know if this offensive performance is good enough to get them that close back to 20 again, but they've been sinking like a rock recently. So just kind of curious where they are at this point.
Well, all the predictive analytics have Maryland as a top 3 seed. It's the resume stuff where they're a little lower, and that's why they're kind of averaging in that 4 range. And I think even Palm had Maryland as the best 4 seed before this game. Iowa State and Texas A&M have lost.
There you go, Larry. There's their offense and defensive ratings.
Yeah,
31 on offense, 6 on defense.
So they're not going to get to 20 on offense, and that's fine. But
yeah,
I don't know. Rodney Rice might get them to 20 tomorrow.
Well,
yeah, right.
Yeah, last year 11 was a 3 seed. Greggy Digital, thank you.
There you go. I mean, that's not science, but
we've got 2 different answers on that. But whatever, they were both 11s and 3 seeds. So
Burnt and okay. Hey, we got some newbies here. That's good. Hit subscribe, guys. So
yes, please help.
Yes, tomorrow 3:30. It'll either be Purdue or Michigan. We've already kind of talked about how most likely it'd be better for Maryland if it was Michigan for multiple reasons. One, to help differentiate them from Purdue seeding wise, but also probably because Maryland matches up better against Michigan. Although Purdue will be on its 3rd game in 3 days, that's when I think fatigue really will start to set in. 2 days in a row, not so bad. The 3rd day, if you're playing tough games and you got to turn around in less than 24 hours, that could become a factor for them, for Purdue, if they win.
There's 0 chance if they win this of getting up to a 2, right?
I don't think so.
No way. No way.
I don't.
No, they would have needed to basically win out. If they got Michigan State and then and then 1 out, they might be a 2. But
I mean, it's been probably 20 years since they've even had above like a 5 or a 6, right?
They haven't been above a 4 since 2002.
Yeah.
I mean, every time they land on the 4 or 5 line when they have a good team, like always. So, again, we've talked a little bit about it on Wednesday, but I think the 3 is just huge this year if you can get there, because it does feel like the difference between the top 15 or so teams and that next group is pretty large right now. And, if Maryland's play is a 4 playing a 5, you might run into a team that's going to be a much tougher matchup, I think, than being a 6 right now. Let alone not having to face a Duke, whatever Cooper Flag scenario is, or in Auburn or in Alabama, or these buzzsaw teams that are kind of waiting for you. So,
less of a chance to get upset in the first round, because once you get down to 5, you're starting to play those 12s, and the 12s are very capable of beating the 5s. It's way less scary when each seed line is less scary, but a 3, it's getting up close to 85-ish%. I think 3s win, close to 90.
At least.
So something like that. So,
which is a good segue, Lawrence, into our almost annual Selection Sunday show, Sunday night at 8:30, where we'll have bracket genius, friend of the show, fellow Terrapin Patrick Stevens on with us to break down whatever tiny conference team will be against in the first round. So please also join us for that. You'll be getting a lot of our faces.
That he had the most accurate bracket in the country, or 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, but his sports knowledge like concerns me. Like, I don't know whether he's got room for anything else up there, because he's
a cyborg.
He's just an absolute cyborg. He's incredible.
What's up, Jerry?
What's up, Jerry? Jerry G.
Tailgating. I haven't, not in a while, but close to 30 years tailgating with Jerry back in the day, the old ACC boards days.
So this looks right now, obviously not just tonight's performance. There's very little chance they'll play like that every night the rest of the way, but this is potentially the best team since
the tournament team, the championship team.
I mean, they clearly are better than the COVID team, and then you look,
and they're better than Gravis' senior year.
Gravis is the only other one that would be.
I think they're better than that too.
Yeah, that team was kind of patched together. You had Dave Neal at center, if I recall correctly, right? Or was that Jordan Williams that year?
That was Jordan. That was the Jordan team.
That was his freshman year. That was his Dave Neal, I guess, was the year before.
Yeah, the year after, wasn't it?
I don't know, man. I've been doing this too long.
I don't know.
It's just all blending together.
Well, and that's going to get worse now with the portal. So that's great. I'm not going to remember dudes who played here like 3 years.
Yeah, I've said that to you guys before. I never understand how people like that. They'll just be off the top of their head. That 2011 team in February really played great defense or something. I'm like, dude, I can't keep. I can keep some of it apart, but anyways, I think it's the best team since then. That doesn't guarantee you anything, but it's just dynamic. It is just a dynamic team.
Yeah, they're really good. It's going to be harder and harder to compare teams now that they've got this giant conference schedule, and they're I don't know. Like, yes, that one team won a co-championship. So did the Sticks team in 2020. But like, do you feel like that those teams would beat this one? I don't know. I'm not sure they would. So it's great. I mean, this is what you want. This is what we ask for, right? You just want a team going into March that feels like it's playing well, a team that feels like it can go on a run like that. This is what we're here for. This is what you should demand as a Maryland basketball fan. And Willard's done it. So big props to him. We have not been, we're not fluffers, as it were. We make our Maryland's coaches earn their praise on this show. And Willard has absolutely done that so far, barring some sort of unforeseen collapse in the next couple weeks. But it's been a great season. If you can't enjoy this basketball season, you got to take up another hobby, because it's been a lot of fun.
Could there be two more polar opposite recruiting classes between last year and this year? Last year you have DHS and Kaiser and Noah Bachelor and these other guys coming. They had Lamoth, and nobody really panned out. And then this year, I mean, I don't know if anybody aced the portal better than he did. Every single guy he hit on.
And Derek Queen, of course.
And Queen, yes.
You remember at the beginning of the season, we were looking at the predictive stuff, and Torvik had Derek Queen at like 5 points and 5 boards a game.
Yeah, I feel vindicated now because, like, when it comes to stat nerds, I kind of deferred, but it seemed ridiculous at the time. But projecting a freshman with no data is,
I've never understood how they. I mean, I guess they have to do something, right? I remember we were looking at that on Larry's spreadsheet, and I'm like, what is this mess? Like, I don't know if I would not have predicted Derek Queen was going to be freshman of the year and first team all conference. That might have been a little too far. I was thinking like, oh, maybe put out 10-7, 12-7, something like that, which would be great. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just better than all y'all.
When he won the MVP of the McDonald's game, that's when I was like, this is going to be good. This is not going to be Diamond Stone Part 2. He's going to be really good.
Well, and he's such a force multiplier for the offense. I mean, you can just see with his ability to pass, his ability to move, his footwork. I mean, the things he does, let alone even when he's not scoring or rebounding, like he's just so good, and his basketball brain is so advanced. There were actually a couple passes tonight where like he was standing still in the high post, and he was kind of trying to telepathically tell someone that he wanted the pass angled in so we could go, and he would make the cut before the guy actually saw him to make the pass. I mean, he's just playing on a different level, man.
He's a basketball genius.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Basketball genius.
And I'll remember this shout out to my boy Matt, who works in Baltimore and got to know Derek and his trainer back when he was still in high school, and he would work out and he would go watch him work, and he's like, this dude's just different.
Yeah,
like he's
Matt from the board.
Yes,
imagine how good he's going to be by the time he's a senior.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a second contract, I imagine, and good for him. But I don't know. I can't think too much about next year because I'm just trying to enjoy this as much as I can.
We'll take Naki's advice. Enjoy this year. After it's over, whatever happens, then we'll worry about the portal and recruiting and all that stuff, and then we'll get.
And that's SVP's catchphrase about Maryland, right? Enjoy the
moments, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy the moments, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to have him. All right. Jeff has to write. He said 20 minutes. We've gone over 30. Jeff has to write. So we're going to keep this one short, you guys. Everybody go out. It's Friday night. Go have a drink. Watch Purdue, Michigan. See who we're going to play tomorrow. And no promises, but if there's another win tomorrow, we might be coming back post-game live again tomorrow. So I'm going to say we're going to do it, right? We are. If they win.
Oh, if they win, I'm in.
We're doing it, right?
Jeff might be under, have sort of Damocles hanging over his head, but
we're doing it. We're doing it.
At least a couple of us are in.
This is more fun than writing, so I'm always like, no, I can't, and then like,
if they win. I keep saying if, and like when I set these up and I put the titles, I say Maryland versus who did they just play? Illinois. Maryland versus Illinois.
Some loser.
They were up by 30, and I could have said celebrating Maryland's victory over, and I still didn't want to do it. They're up by 30.
Well, the nice thing about it, to take you behind the curtain from my side, is when it's a blowout by halftime, I can just straight up write the story. You don't have to worry about second half analysis or what if this happens or what if that happens.
Yeah.
So
people don't understand that. I'll say people don't understand that reporters are writing gamers like as the game is going on. Like,
you're sweating. You're trying to tweet this out and write this and write that, and I don't know. It beats a real job though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hopefully, we're going to see you guys tomorrow. That'd be around 5:30ish, assuming no overtime, and then we're definitely going to see you Sunday night. We probably won't go live immediately after the game. We'll wait until after the selection show's done. And then we'll go live, and we're going to have Patrick Stevens. That's going to be around 7:30ish, right?
8:30. We'll start at 8:30. Patrick's at 9.
We're starting at 8:30.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, because Patrick's got his own. He's actually does like media for like 3 hours after these things.
Right. Okay.
Like that.
So we'll hopefully tomorrow we'll see you in the 5:30ish range. Definitely we'll see you Sunday night at 8:30. If you haven't clicked subscribe yet, please do that. Please like the video. We'll see you guys next time. This is IMS Radio.